Alright, what's up guys, Mature Deity, and I just recorded this. I tried to record my reaction to the bounce patch, but now I know what it all is, and that video is not I can't upload it. I messed it up pretty bad. So, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about my thoughts on all of the hero bounce patch stuff for today. So, looking at this, we are going to be looking at Solitaria Snow got a buff, that's huge, I'm excited. Designer Library got a buff, love when the library gets buffed. Chloe, Celine, Lilibet, sorry. So we got Lilibet and Designer Library. Kind of cool that they did both of them. Simple Angelica, I know Lucy and Aiden, I don't care about these. They're 3-star Moonlight characters. They're 3 stars just don't have the base stats for me to really care about, especially these ones. Well, this is just a Covenant, but I mean, one's a Moonlight, as I know, so I don't know. Some people have seen some success with her, but let's just get into it. We do have 3 artifact upgrades as well. So, one of the biggest issues with Solitaria when fighting into Remnant Violet, and characters like that, especially Green Violet, is whenever you S1, it's always an AoE, meaning that Green Violet will always counter you. Now they have changed that to where you have a 75% chance to dispel a buff whenever you use your S1, and then whenever you're granted her ability that she gets every turn, the Dream Daylight, is that whatever it's called? Daydream is the ability. If you have that Daydream ability active on her that she gets every turn from her passive, then you're going to get an AoE attack after the single target attack, to where whenever you get an additional attack, that is uncounterable on a unit. So any unit that hits once and hits again, the second hit cannot be countered. And that's just how the mechanics work in the game. So now, Solitaire, you can S1 a target that isn't Green Violet, and then the AoE will hit Green Violet, probably miss him, but at least you're not getting countered. But you can run her on Abyssal Crown, to where every time you do that, you S1, say they have FCC. You S1 the FCC, and then it'll proc into an AoE. You have a chance to, 1, strip the FCC. 2, if you are on Abyssal Crown, then you have a chance to AoE Abyssal Crown, stun their entire team. And it has a 25% chance to stun anyway. So say that's multiple chances to stun. If you have max Abyssal Crown, you have 2 different 25% chances per target. She is a terror if you can get her to work right. So she is going to be a decent Violet counter and decent Remnant Violet counter, because the fact that she now goes into stealth at the end of every single turn. That is crazy. And her S3 also gives her a barrier. So when you do her S3, it decreases combat radius by 30%. It decreases all buff durations before you even make contact. So if you hit Remnant Violet, you will strip his evasion before you even touch him, which is very, very good. So then that way you could get the pushback on him. You still don't want to S3 into Green Violet, really. I don't think that's a good idea. But overall, I think she's going to be pretty dang good. I'm probably going to build mine super tanky and slower, and maybe like 200 speed, like 18k HP, 1200 defense. And I might try a faster one, but I think the longer that she stays alive, because her with the barrier and being in stealth, the longer she stays alive, the more chances you have to win the game, because whatever unit you drafted her into counter will just be locked down. She's not going to be a unit, I don't think, that you can pick into every draft, obviously. She's a very reactionary unit. You're going to pick it into characters that obviously she affects. Seaside Bologna, Violet. I mean, there's other ones, right? Who else has focus? I don't remember. Oh, Archie Mercedes. She'll be very good against Archie Mercedes, because you could passively stun Archie Mercedes. So an extra Archie Mercedes counter as well. And Archdemon cannot target her to try to put the seal on her. She could get the strips. So she Archdemon kind of counters her with the AoE and the artifact that strips buffs, because she can strip you out of your barrier and stealth. So they I think they're like 50-50, but they could be used to fight each other decently well, maybe. She could counter her pretty good. Next up, we have Designer Lilibet, or Designer Library. This unit, this is the one I think is most impactful, because in my mind, if it works how in my mind I'm thinking, she's going to be amazing. So against 5 Fighting Spirit, instead of 5 Fighting Spirit, you start the battle with 50, and when enemies turn in, gain 10 Fighting Spirit for each debuff on your ally. So if Ran S3s, that's 8 debuffs. If he lands 5 of them, when Ran's turn ends, Lilibet gets pushed forward. Which the problem with Ran is Ran puts immunity up, so you're not going to be able to get the resist, or the reset on the skills once he puts immunity up. But getting that 40% CR push, if your Lilibet's on good damage, 40% CR is a lot for combat readiness. And if you get that push, you're going to cut above all of their damage dealers, and then hit them very hard, and usually cleave units are very squishy. And she gets defense buff now, meaning her damage is going to be increased. That's huge. There's a very good chance that she is going to become one of the best anti-cleave units. If it's working out, I think. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I am excited for it. Because the second thing with it is whenever she uses her S3, it increases combat readiness by all odds by the caster by 15%. So you get boosted up 40% if you get debuffed, like at all. 5 debuffs is nothing if you're fighting anything that lands debuffs. So, I mean, even Lilius gives you 4 right there, and then if she procs her next turn, your Lilibet's going to cut right after that. And the thing is, it's perfectly set up against Lilius to where if she uses her S3, lands the 4, you're going to be at 90 fighting spirit, and then once she tries to provoke you and push you back, she might get the pushback, but then you're going to proc and cut right back 40%. So, and then it counters out all the debuffs from her. So she's pretty good into that too. She just seems overall, this seems like a very, very good buff for her in my opinion. And the thing is, being able to CR boost your team and cut whenever someone tries to ran or Pierre you or anything that debuffs and cleave, and you can just cut. I think she's gonna be pretty good. I'm excited for her. I don't know how well it'll work, like I said, but Lilibet's already done good damage. If she can just cut and one-shot a cleave team, that's going to be very funny. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think I'm wrong, if she's not going to make any impact at all. I very well could be. I just woke up and read this. I was like, this seems pretty good. I really like both those so far. Solitaria and her, I feel like they really nailed what they needed help on. Next up, Chloe. Chloe just gets 50% extra combat readiness boost from using her magic nail ability, and then she cuts back. The magic nail ignores ER, so you can get the nail, you cut back, deal more damage, and she's just going to be better for Wyvern. Maybe some people will try to use her in PvE now that you can get the guaranteed CR push and you get an unresistible nail, but the nail can still just be cleansed. So I don't see it being too great for PvP, but for PvE it'll be good. They also changed the EE for her that gives an extra turn. They changed it to where you get guaranteed attack buff. So guaranteed attack buff, that's good. Always good. So Celine, this one, I don't know how good it's going to be. She dispels all debuffs whenever she activates her ability. So you can use her into Celine. Now Celine would put the attack down on her before, and then you would proc and then attack. So you wouldn't be able to cleanse yourself because the cleanse was on her S3 before instead of her S2 Thunderclap. Or S2, or Intuition, whatever it was. Sorry, yeah, her S2 didn't have cleanse, but now it has cleanse, so you can draft her into Celine. You can cleanse that attack break before you hit, and she also increases combat readiness herself by 20%. But that's the thing, most people build Celine so slow. 20% combat readiness on her is still gonna only put you like 80% up on the CR bar, if that. if your base speed Celine, if your speed set Celine like 180 speed, that'll put you still quite a ways behind the enemy team. So I'm not sure how much this increased combat readiness is going to be. Maybe you can change your build to be faster, so you can get the proc from your Intuition and then get the Thunderclap after, so you get 2 big hits. Thunderclap gives a barrier strength proportional to attack. They removed the dispel, so debuff from that since the dispelling is on her other ability. And then the healing is decreased on the amount you heal whenever you do use Thunderclap. But you still get evasion, so I don't know. I don't think this is going to be too huge. She'll be pickable, but we'll see. I'm hoping it is, because I do have Celine, and I would like more options for against Lilius. So we'll see how that works. Now, Lilibet, I'm really excited for this one. I don't know how good it's going to be. Again, this one's strange. She has it to where she does a 55% chance to inflict 3 bleeding effects before increasing combat readiness by 50%. But whenever you awaken, if they are bleeding after you use this hit, you get your 50% combat readiness boost, and then you get another 50%. So it's not an extra turn. You still can get cut when you do this. So say you hit a target, but Angel of Light Angelica is right there at 98 CR, and then you hit another target, Angel of Light will still cut in front of you. So that's the only problem with not having an extra turn ability and having combat readiness. But being able to hit that, get 3 bleeding effects, or get some bleed, and then get an additional turn, basically, or get 100% CR to where you're going again, and then you can use your Soul Cutter ability. Those 2 attacks on a Lilibet, and this has increased hit chance, you have a pretty good chance to just one-shot whatever, and that's really good, especially because it also gives you skill nullifier, 2 decreases skill cooldown of your skill, so you can get back into your S2, S3. This combo again within like 1 turn, I think it's really quick, and then the other thing is it extincts, correct? Yeah, it extincts the enemy, so it's an extinction. Could be overall pretty good. We'll see. I'm not sure. I'm not. The bad thing is so many characters are just so dang tanky now that I don't know if she'll be able to kill anything even with 2 attacks. But we'll see. Maybe she can. Maybe she can one-shot Violet. The thing is, her S3 with a Tensile Soul Burn does incredible damage right now. So if you can somehow get the souls and then do this and do the S2 and the S3, you probably kill just about everything. Because I think her Soul Burn multiplier is something nuts. I used to use her a lot. Mine's actually pretty heavily molded, so I will be testing her. And then they changed this to where the chance of inflicting bleeding is lowered, because if it was too high, that would mean you guaranteed are going to always get that ability. So I think they maybe felt this was too strong because you're always going to get the extra turn. But they made it to where it dispels 2 debuffs from yourself. So say you're blind or attack down, you can have the ability to cleanse yourself before you go for whatever attack you're doing, or before you go for the snip into the other thing. It's not bad. I think that's pretty good. Hopefully I got that right. I mean, I may have misinterpreted some of the stuff. Just let me know in the comments if I did. Next up, Sinful Ajoka. Hers is super simple. All it does is dispels 1 debuff before before S3 proc. So she'll use her S3, say you have unbuffable on your ult team, you'll cleanse the unbuffable, and then you'll get the immortality. So it makes her a little bit more viable, because before, if you drafted an unbuffable unit, Sinful Angelica was useless. And she's amazing in PvE, in like arena controlled PvP environments like Arena and Guild Wars. She's great for that. She's really good for PvE. She's Wyvern one shot. She's great in Abyss. I used her for a lot of the Abyss floors, 111 through 120. She's a fantastic character, and this will just make her a little bit better. So nothing wrong with that. It's not game breaking by any means, but could make her more viable. Now the 3 stars, like, I don't care about these. If you want to read these, I'll put them up on the screen. You can pause the video right here. So here's 1. Here's 2. I don't. These 3 stars are not going to be used. Maybe Aiden. I think Aiden's the new character. Maybe she's decent. I don't know though. I don't really care. 3 stars, just their base stats are so bad, it's impossible to use them unless they have a specially change, and then it's still nearly impossible to use them. Some of the specially changed characters make it out of there okay. Alright, the artifacts. This one is now a Wyvern artifact, Cradle of Life. So they changed it to where it's a 2-turn debuff, so you can use this on Terranor Guard. I'm dying. Terranor Guard or any kind of warrior. Pretty good. Decrease attack, decrease the chance, burn, or bleeding. And they took away the poison and put burn, because getting a 2-turn poison on artifact against Wyvern is a little too strong. That's literally the only thing this is going to be used for. I don't see it being used in PvP whatsoever. But it's cool though. It makes it to where maybe as a new player, if you pulled this, you can now do Wyvern 13 a little bit easier. Little Queen's Huge Crown. This is one that it seems really good, because if they have a barrier on a single target attack, you have 2 Tonfas, and it doesn't matter their HP value. So like Portrait and Tonfa, they have to be above 50% to get the extra 20% damage. But this has a max 16% damage all the time. And then if they have a barrier, so if you draft like a warrior on this into an FCC, and you're getting 32% extra damage at all times, that's a lot of extra damage. So I don't know who this is going to be used on, if it's going to have value or not. But that seems very, very strong if you have a max one of these. It's like APOC Robbie though. I think Crimson Seed's better, or the other artifact, Comet, Azure Comet is better, having 0 push. And the extra crit chance, I think, is probably just going to be overall better, but who knows. I'm curious to see what people do with this, especially if they have a max one. I think mine's pretty upgraded. So hopefully someone finds a good use for it. Next up, we have Elsa Fist. So Elsa Fist, I've never seen anyone use this artifact. I tried to use it on with a revenge set on Dark Corvus before, and it's a very bad artifact overall, just because it doesn't have any like benefit until you start taking damage. And that's any artifact that is situational, that only will work if a certain thing happens, just makes the artifact way worse. But now it increases attack by 10%, guaranteed, and then it has the ability to get extra attack and speed as you're getting hurt. So overall, maybe this will be used, but I still don't think it's going to have much value overall. It's okay now. Maybe if you don't have other artifact options, this is now something that can at least be used. So that's my opinion on all of the patch notes. Let me know you guys' opinion on anything. Maybe if you think I'm wrong on something, or maybe you agree with me. My biggest takeaway is Solitaria can now actually be used a little bit safer into Violet, SSB, stuff like that. I don't know how I'm going to build mine yet. Next up, the designer Lilibet. I think she is going to be the winner of this by far. She seems very good. I really think she is a viable anti-cleave option possibly now. That's what I'm most excited for. Having one more unit to fight cleave is great, and then having her in just getting defense buff. She's going to be dealing more damage than before. She's going to be cycling more turns than before because every debuff she can. I mean, 10. You get 10 fighting spirit instead of 5. You get literally double the rotation with her, so that's really good. And the CR push from her S3 can also set you up into really good positioning. And then the green Lilibet, that one's exciting too. I'm very. I just like Lilibet, so I'm excited to get to try these buffs out. So that's all I got. Like I said, let me know down below if you're new to the channel. If you're willing to subscribe, that'd be great. But it's been Mitch or Deity, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.